The first step to make sourdough is to take your starter out of the fridge around 7 to 9 a.m. and let it go to room temperature. It's been about 2 hours. Now you measure out 30 grams of water, and 30 grams of flour. I'm using white rye flour for this starter. Next, you pour in your flour and your water, and you mix well. Don't forget to scrape the sides. A lot of times you have chunks of flour in your starter if you don't. Take out most of that. That dried area was from the sides. Now we let that sit for about 5 hours until it doubles in size. That's what it looks like after feeding it. Then we'll look at it again when it doubles. Well, it's been about 5 hours and our starter's about ready. So we're going to start mixing the dough. First, we need 350 grams of filtered or spring water. Looks like I put a little bit too much, so we're going to take some out. There we go. Then we need 4 grams of salt. There. Now we're going to add 500 grams of flour. I'm using regular unbleached all-purpose flour in this recipe. Okay, last we need starter. We need 50 grams of the starter. Guess I should have been a little bit more prepared. Getting my spatula out. There you go. So for a recap, we've done 50 grams of starter, 500 grams of all-purpose unbleached flour, 350 grams of spring water. You can use filtered water. Do not use tap water that's chlorinated. And you need 4 grams of salt. Is that it? I start with my spatula to get the flour off the sides. After it's mixed with the spatula, you want to switch to something like this. A lot of people use those dough whisks. I don't bother with it. I've done pretty good without it, so I don't spend the money if you don't have to. You're going to do kind of a rough dough like that, and then you're going to let it sit covered for 1.5 hours. And then we'll go to the next step. All right, now it's the first stretch and fold. First thing you're going to do, of course, is take off the lid. Spray your hand with filtered water or spring water, and so the dough won't stick. And you do that until it forms a nice ball. There's the first stretch and fold. Now you put the lid back on and let it sit for another 30 minutes. And then you do it again. You're going to do this a total of 4 times. This is the first time, 3 more to go. Okay, time for the second stretch and fold. We're going to do the same thing as last time. Spray our hand with water. And then fold until it forms into a nice bowl. Ball, excuse me. There you go. You just cover it and wait 30 more minutes. That's 2 down, 2 to go. Okay, number 3 of 4, and do the same thing. Wet your hand and stretch and fold until it's in a nice ball. There's only 1 more after this, and then you leave it on the counter overnight. Yeah, that's a good ball. Lid back on. And we wait another 30 minutes. Okay, this is the last stretch and fold. Of course, you can do one more just for good measure, but this is not the last one. Just keep doing the stretch and fold until it's got a nice ball, just like the other ones. There you go. Cover it up one more time. And this time you leave it on the counter overnight. And then you're going to mess with it first thing in the morning. We'll see you tomorrow. Well, good morning. It's time to do the next step in the process. First, we're taking off that lid. Check that out. That's cool, right? Considering what it looked like last night. Right now, we're just gonna gently stretch and fold it to make a ball. The better ball you make, the better your bread will puff up and turn out. Okay, before we finish, let's set up our basket here. That's rice flour and then a banneton. You can use salmonella flour also, but we're using white rice flour. You can either buy the pre-done or you can blend some up in like a coffee grinder. You want to liberally put it in there. Okay, let's finish this. I don't want it to stick. Now we're just going to cover it with a flour cloth and we're going to put it in the refrigerator until about 1 p.m. You want it in there for at least 5 hours. 7 is better. You can put it as long as 32 hours. The longer you put it in the fridge, the more sour your bread's going to be. It's time to start baking, so we set the oven to 450. Next, we get a roaster, put parchment paper in it, get the bread from the refrigerator, carefully get it in the pan. Then we take a razor cutter or a sharp knife. And we cut in it. Put the lid on. And put it directly in the oven. Set the timer for 50 minutes. It's been 50 minutes and there's the bread. Now we wait 1 hour before we can cut into it. So we'll see you in an hour.